Welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast, strategies that help entrepreneurs build reputable and profitable brands. Here's your host, Henry Kaminski Jr.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Henry Kaminski here from UniqueDesignz.net with another Brand Doctor Podcast episode. Welcome to the show, guys. Hope you're having an amazing day. We are just kicking it here, me and the fam. We are about to embark on our first vacation with our little 12-week-old Dante Christian. We are going to Aruba. I've never been to this island before, but I heard it's amazing. I heard it's beautiful. I can't wait. We're leaving tomorrow morning early, and we will be gone for a few days. So really, really excited. First journey as a father and a parent, and just I'm excited. I'm excited for the experience. You know, you could be afraid, or you can take the bull by the horns, right? So I'm sure the plane ride's going to be fun, and we're just going to make it happen. So anyway, excuse me. Let's get into today's topic of discussion. So this week I'm on the kick on social media. You guys that are following me, I'm on this authenticity kick because I feel like a lot of us are really focusing in on the wrong things. We're trying to be people that we're not. We're trying to create a business that isn't exactly authentic. You're trying to do it for the money, or you're trying to do it for other reasons other than what is really true inside of you. And I want to share with you a funny story going back to my high school days as as the cool ass white bread, and I'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, give you a quick backstory. You know, from ages like 0 to 10, I grew up in a primarily, middle class neighborhood. Nothing real crazy going on. And it was primarily Caucasian, this town, right? Not a lot of ethnicity in this town at all. And so as I was going through my school years and getting through middle school, my mouth started to get me in trouble. I'm not going to lie. I was very mouthy. And I was almost too big for my britches, if you will, because I'm not a huge guy. For those of you guys that know me, I'm a whopping 5'7". So I was big for my britches, and I got myself into a lot of trouble. And I used to scrap a lot. I was a scrappy little mofo back in the day, and I would get a couple beatings. And eventually it kind of caught up to me. So anyway, why am I telling you all of this? What does this have to do with branding? Well, let me get there. So when my parents got divorced, unfortunately, we had to move. And what happened was my father was working about 30 minutes away from where we were currently living, and he wanted to move closer to work. So there's a town near where he worked called Long Branch, New Jersey. And for those of you who know what Long Branch is or what it's about, it's a very ethnically diverse town. It is, it's a tough town. How do I explain this nicely? I mean, it's a very tough town. And when I was growing up in Middletown, I would hear stories about Long Branch, and it would actually frighten me because it was a serious town. And when my father told me the day that we were moving to Long Branch, I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. Because the streets of Long Branch are pretty tough in certain areas. And then there's nicer areas, of course, in West Long Branch and stuff. But anyway, we were looking for apartments. And at the time, nobody wanted to rent to us a nice apartment because we had a dog, and it was a fairly big dog. And the dog was the deal breaker. And my father said, well, listen, if you want to get rid of Secret was her name. She was a great dog. If you want to get rid of Secret, we can move in a nicer place. It's up to you. But, that's the deal. And I was adamant. I was 14 years old at the time. And I was like, there's no way we're getting rid of this dog. I don't care what we do. And so we wound up renting an apartment literally down the street from the projects. And it was like this dilapidated house. Like if you blew on it too hard, it would fall down. And it was just a shithole. I don't know how else to explain it. And I stayed there for 2 years. We stayed there for 2 years until I finally got the guts to tell my father, like, we got to move. Like, I don't feel comfortable walking to school, because I had to walk through a particular neighborhood that wasn't necessarily the safest. And I got nervous. So anyway, long story short, we moved closer to the school later on down the pike. But let me get into why this all ties into authenticity. So, when I lived in Middletown, in my old town, I was trying to act like a machismo, like this tough guy. And I was not aligned with who I truly was. And what happened was that caught up to me. That got me into a lot of trouble. Okay? It got me into a lot of trouble. And I would get into these fights. Well, let me tell you this. My first day I walked into Long Branch High School, I got a vibe that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. I walked into that high school and I was like, wow, I am the minority in this school. And I think there was maybe a 50 or 60 white kids in the entire high school, right? And when I walked into that high school, I said, whoa. There's no acting like a tough guy here. Because you know what? You're going to get more than beat up. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. You're going to get more than beat up. These kids aren't going to take your shit. And so what did I do? I stayed completely in my lane. I didn't try to act ethnic. I didn't try to change the way that I spoke. I didn't try to change the type of music that I liked. I've always been a hip hop fan. Even when I lived in Middletown, I was 13 years old. I've always loved hip hop music. It's very inspiring to me. My favorite rappers are Nas, Jay-Z, and Drake. And, I just love what they put out there in their music. They tell stories that are inspiring. And, we didn't have a lot growing up. I didn't have a lot growing up as an only child. And so it reminded me a lot of my circumstance where, I tried to make the best out of everything. And I wasn't going to let my circumstances determine my success in the future when I got older. So that's why I love hip hop music, because a lot of hip hop music, the stories, the good hip hop, they tell stories like that, which truly inspired me and keeps me motivated. So anyway, when I got to high school, and the new high school, Long Branch, I had a lot of ethnic friends. I had a lot of Puerto Rican friends. I had a lot of Dominican friends. I had a lot of black friends. And it was funny because for a little 5'7" white kid in a predominantly black and Hispanic school, you would think that they would not have much in common with that person. However, everything was different for me. And I think what made things different and why I connected with so many different people and so many different ethnicities was because I have a genuine love for people. And I didn't care that they were black. I didn't care that they were Puerto Rican. I didn't care that they were different than me. I looked at their differences as, wow, this is a way to learn. And I even did this as a young kid. But the one thing that I did that saved me, really, from getting into the trouble that I got into in my old neighborhood, was that I just stayed true to myself. And it's funny because all my friends in high school saw that. And they were like, Henry's not trying to pawn himself off. They used to call white people that tried to act black wiggers back in the day. I don't know if they still call them that, but stupid name. And they said, Henry's not trying to be a wigger. He's just trying to be himself. He's just himself. And so they used to call me the cool ass white bread. I don't know how I should take that, if that was an insult or a compliment. But I took it as a compliment because they saw me for me. And they truly just respected that. And it was funny because there's a few other white kids in school that tried to pawn themselves off as these urban / ghetto kids, and they got laughed at and they got picked on, by the upperclassmen because they were just fronting. They were not true to who they truly were. And it got themselves they got themselves laughed at. They got themselves quarantined, and they never were the cool kids because they just were silly looking, Really, they just made asses out of themselves trying to be something that they obviously could never be. And so my point that I want to make today is this. When you get aligned with who it is that you truly are, and you love that, and you embody that, and you embrace that, and you don't give a damn what other people think of it, people will respect that. And that has a lot to do with branding, guys. If you're out there on social media talking one way and the next day you turn around and you're on different planets than where you were the day before, people are going to look at you like, who are you? What do you stand for? What exactly do you do again? Like, why should I hire you? Why should I give you money? Like, seriously. And so I'm here to tell you guys today to just be yourself, man. Just be yourself, because that's what people truly want out of you. They don't want you to be somebody you're not. Nobody does. It's like, you remember in high school or remember in college, or just go out to any social event nowadays, right? And you have your little group of friends that you're maybe having a couple drinks with or whatever, and some random guy or girl barrel asses his way into your little circle and starts trying to emulate one of you. Are you not going to look at that person like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? It's the same thing when it comes to building your brand. If you're building the brand for all the wrong reasons because you want to fit in, or you're trying to impress, or you're trying to, outdo somebody, or whatever the reason is, and it's not truly authentic to who you really are, that brand will never be successful. I'll put $100,000 on it. That brand will never be successful. So let's tighten up today, guys. After listening to this episode, I want you guys to go back and ask yourself, why am I creating this brand in the first place? And what do I truly stand for? And tell yourself, look yourself in the eyes, in the mirror today, and say, I am who I am, and I'm more than enough. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I don't care what anybody's going to say about me. I'm going to do me. And I'm going to do me 1,000%. And I'm going to do me through my brand. And I know that it's going to set people off. And I know it's going to bring people towards me. And there's going to be a handful of people that ain't going to care either way. But I'm going to stand behind what it is that I truly love and what I am 1,000%. Guys, when you do that, and you do that consistently, and your audience starts to see that, you're going to win. And you're going to win big. So take this little story that I share with you today and take the nuggets out of it that will help and guide you to being an authentic person, staying true to yourself, and just dialing into what it is that you truly want out of life and out of your brand. And I can promise you amazing things are on the horizon. So have an awesome day, guys. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast yet, please do. If you haven't shared it with a friend or colleague, I would so appreciate you do that. And I'm thanking you in advance for that. A couple more housekeeping things. If you haven't yet, gained access to the Brand Doctors Hangout on Facebook, quickly shoot over to Facebook and in the search query, type in the Brand Doctors Hangout and join the community of, I think it's about 250 of us now, all like-minded entrepreneurs helping each other build each other's brand and just helping each other during this, through this entrepreneurial journey. So guys, have an awesome day, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
You've been listening to the Brand Doctor Podcast with Henry Kaminski Jr. To get your appointment with the doctor, visit Brand Audit at www.uniquedesignz.net.